needed most so that every Virginian can access quality, affordable care.
Live from Michigan Avenue, this is Good Day Chicago.
Good morning to you. Welcome to Good Day Chicago. I'm Gabriela Primus.
I'm Brian Jackson. Here's a look at some of the stories we're following for you this morning. Orland Park's Village Board approves plans for a new Amazon store. Some residents are still hesitant on this development.
And the state of Indiana goes crazy. A big night for the Hoosiers. The University of Indiana wins its first ever football national championship.
And that Arctic air is sticking around some more this morning. But Mike says we're going to have some snow for some areas on top of that. We check in with Mike this morning. Just how much snow are we talking, Mike?
Well, who's we?
Okay.
Okay.
Where I am far north, I'm going to get more snow than in the city. I'll show you the winter weather advisory here in just a little bit. Good morning, everybody. Let's start with the temperatures. It's still mighty cold out there. 3 at O'Hare, 3 at Gary, 1 Chicago Heights and Valparaiso, 1 below. Current temperature there in Woodstock. And I mean, we've been talking about wind chills that have been well below zero pretty much since yesterday morning. Feels like 13 below at Aurora and Valparaiso. And today, in spite of the fact we're going to see a lot of morning sunshine, temperature's going to stay cold, just not as cold as yesterday. 16 at noon, a little more cloud cover at 4 o'clock, temperature 21 degrees, and then the snow moves in tonight. We'll talk about the amounts here in just a little bit, but right now, back to Brian and Gary.
Thank you, Mike.
Well, with this extreme cold, some homes and businesses are dealing with no heat.
Fox Chicago's Brett Bragansky shows us the common cause and why some HVAC companies are stressing you should remain patient.
At a time when there's snow on the ground and temperatures are well below freezing,
this flame sensor is heavily damaged here.
your furnace goes out.
The last 24 hours has been very, very busy.
Ray Reyes with Under the Sun Heating and Cooling told me his business got dozens of calls Monday.
The common factor is that the furnace is being ran a little bit too much just because they're trying to keep the demand of the heat versus the cold.
How common is it for everyone's heat to go out at this time when it's below zero?
It's very common. What I've noticed as well is that clients are running their furnaces up to 75, 76 on their thermostat.
Reyes says it comes down to overuse. And when that happens, he says the furnace shuts down as a safety precaution. That way, there's no damage, like cracking. In order to get it running again, Reyes says they will clean it and replace the flame sensor so the furnace is no longer blowing cold air.
We can't service everybody at the same time, right? We're all very limited, right? So it's, I would hate to say this, but it's a first come, first served basis.
Reyes told me it could be extremely tough responding to all these calls for service, especially when the temperature is reading, as my thermometer says right here, about 5 degrees. He said you have to be patient, but just a good rule of thumb, always keep your furnace right at around 72 degrees. That way you don't have any overuse there. In Bucktown, Brett Pagansky, Fox Chicago.
A search is underway in Indiana after a Superior Court judge and his wife were shot inside of their home. Judge Steve Meyer and his wife were shot in their home in Lafayette on Sunday. Police said that the pair received medical treatment and are expected to be okay. Authorities say that they're not aware of any threats against the judge or others at the courthouse, but that there will be increased security. FBI and multiple state agencies are currently investigating.
The Department of Justice is responding to a lawsuit filed by the state of Minnesota and the Twin Cities, calling it frivolous. The DOJ is asking the court to deny the state's request for a preliminary injunction, which would block ICE from operating in the Twin Cities until the lawsuit is resolved. Minnesota, Minneapolis, and St. Paul argue the ICE operation is unconstitutional and unlawful. This as nearly 60 organizations took to our city streets to protest on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. They're calling for ICE to be abolished. The protest began at Water Tower Park and ended at Trump Tower. Protesters say they were out in the freezing cold because the issues they stand for are life and death for many people.
We've got people who are wrongfully imprisoned. We've got the Constitution being shredded by this president, and a totally weak response from the so-called opposition in the Democratic Party. And so we've got to fight for civil rights the way they've always been fought. Being out in the streets, taking risks sometimes.
The groups are also calling for an end to the wars, genocide, and to tax the rich.
The Supreme Court could rule on President Trump's sweeping global import fees today. Those tariffs are being challenged by some small businesses in several states because, according to the Constitution, the power to implement tariffs is held by Congress. President Trump put them in place by declaring a national emergency. If the justices find that the tariffs are illegal, the U.S. could be forced to refund more than $133 billion. Tensions are also rising over President Trump's push to control Greenland. In a message to Norway's prime minister, President Trump blamed the country for not giving him the Nobel Peace Prize and said he, quote, no longer feels bound to think only about peace. The president is threatening new tariffs on several European countries that back Greenland and its ruling country, Denmark. He also has now ruled out using force. European leaders say that the country is not for sale, and they're urging calmer talks.
It feels now like American foreign policy, at least towards Greenland, is being driven by Donald Trump's ego, not by our national interest.
We are not going to outsource our hemispheric security to anyone else.
Denmark and other NATO members have been sending more troops to Greenland for training and security.
3 of the most influential Catholic leaders in the country, including Chicago Archbishop Lee Cupich, are criticizing the Trump administration over recent foreign policy moves in Venezuela, Ukraine, and Greenland. Cardinal Cupich said, quote, as pastors entrusted with the teaching of our people, we cannot stand by while decisions are made that condemn millions to lives trapped permanently at the edge of existence. The White House has not issued a response.
The Orland Park Village Board approves a proposed Amazon development. Amazon wants to build a large retail store near 159th Street and LaGrange Road with land that is currently vacant. The company says that this will be a traditional shopping experience with groceries and general merchandise, not a distribution center. Some residents have raised concerns about traffic in that area.
It's already one of the busiest intersections in the village. Traffic congestion is bad today, and everybody knows it'll only get worse. The village has effectively admitted this by focusing on traffic mitigation rather than reduction, an acknowledgement that congestion is unavoidable.
Village officials say that this development could bring hundreds of jobs and add to Orland Park's reputation.
4:37 now. Of course, the Bears are officially moving on to the offseason.
Yes, after they were eliminated on Sunday, but we're going to look back on some of the positives of this season, Mike.
Why not? And there were certainly plenty of those. The Bears cleaned out their lockers yesterday and took time to reflect on the season. Many of the players said the foundation has now been set in Chicago. They believe that that is going to carry over for years to come. And they're giving a lot of that credit to Ben Johnson.
Catalyst for us, to be able to lead us, to be able to stand strong in tough moments and good moments. To be able to show emotion, be able to be who he is and be consistent with that and do, what he said he was going to do. He's been everything that Chicago's needed as a coach.
That guy right there and General Manager Ryan Poles are expected to talk with the media and break down the season and look ahead to the future. They'll be talking with the media later this week. It looks like the Bears are already losing one of their coaches. Running backs coach Eric Bieniemy is heading back to Kansas City. He will return to the role of offensive coordinator there. He was the Chiefs OC for 4 years starting in 2018. Bieniemy replacing former Bears head coach Matt Nagy, who is not expected to return after his contract expired. The Indiana Hoosiers pull off the unimaginable. They are national champions in football, sealing the deal right there with that interception at the end of the game. They beat Miami 27-21 in the title game last night, claiming the program's first ever national championship. Yeah, you think Hoosier national champions, you got Bobby Knight basketball. Well, the Hoosiers finished an incredible year, 16-0, making them the first major college football team to do that since Yale in 1894. Entering the season, the Hoosiers had lost more games than any other FBS program. What a turnaround. A special return to the United Center. Former Blackhawk Jonathan Toews was in town, along with his new team, the Winnipeg Jets. He got a big and deserved ovation after they played a little highlight reel. We won't play it all for you now, but you can take my word for it. The ovation lasted 3.5 minutes. As for the game itself, Jason Dickinson got the Hawks on the board in the second period. That is his 6th goal of the season, and the Hawks pitch a shutout and beat Taves and the Jets 2-0. Another coaching position is now open in the NFL. Did you see this one coming? The Buffalo Bills have fired Sean McDermott after his team lost to Denver in OT Saturday. McDermott turned the Bills into a powerhouse, but just couldn't get them to a Super Bowl. Meanwhile, the Dolphins have hired Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley for their head coaching job, and 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh is reportedly set to become head coach of the Tennessee Titans, and there's plenty more coaching positions to be filled. Here, we have clear skies. Now, a lot of you have heard, or maybe some of you even saw, the Northern Lights. I attempted to take some pictures last night. I could barely see them in spite of the fact that there's a raging geomagnetic storm going on. But I am going to share some pictures taken not that far north of us here coming up later this morning so you can see that it happened. We have sunshine on the way today, but don't let that fool you. Bundle up the children today. Layer, layer, layer. It'll only be 1 at 7, 16 at noon. So, yeah, it gets a little bit warmer, but bundle up. Encourage those kids to put on the hats, gloves, the whole thing for that ride home. It is 1 at Aurora, 1 at Waukegan, 2 at DeKalb, 1 at Valparaiso, 4, one of the hot spots now midway in the lakefront. Look at these wind chills still way below 0. Few spots double digits, so including Midway, Aurora, DeKalb, and Waukegan. It's also 13 below. That's a feels-like temperature Valparaiso. And there's a winter weather advisory talking about the likelihood of there being more snow north, and this is why. In winter weather advisory, Lake McHenry County points west and all of southern Wisconsin. It'll go into effect at 8 o'clock tonight and last until 6 a.m. tomorrow. Do not think that just because Lake and McHenry County are the only counties in an advisory that there's going to be no snow in Wheaton or no snow in Chicago, because there will be some. It's just the heavier snow is going to be north, and at this point I think it could be kind of a 3-4 inch deal, maybe a few spots getting 5. During the day today, lots of sunshine, not much warmth, but warmer than it was yesterday. Here comes that snow moving in tonight. And at midnight, I mean, it's snowing over most of Chicagoland, but the heavy stuff is going to be north, and this will move out of here by daybreak tomorrow. But there will be even more snow coming in tomorrow night. We'll talk about that and the rest of the forecast coming up.
All right, well, we're ready. Thanks, Mike.
Well, President Trump is targeting states that use taxpayer money to cover health care for illegal immigrants.
And a snow squall leads to a big mess on a Michigan highway. We'll have the details soon.
Stream Good Day Chicago on your
Now in Good Day Chicago, the Orland Park Village Board approves a proposed Amazon development. Amazon wants to build a large retail store near 159th Street and LaGrange Road on land that's currently vacant. Some residents are concerned about things like traffic.
The Supreme Court could rule on President Trump's sweeping global import fees today. These tariffs are being challenged by small businesses and by several states. If the justices find that the tariffs are illegal, the U.S. could be forced to refund more than $133 billion.
I wonder if we'll be able to hear Anthony Ponce come in with all the cheers. The Indiana Hoosiers pull off the unmanageable and are national champions in college football. They beat Miami 27-21 in the national title game last night, claiming the program's first ever national championship.
That was down 446 this morning. An investigation into a deadly train collision in Spain continues. At least 40 people are dead and more than 150 injured. A train heading to Madrid jumped the track and slammed into another train, sending that second train down a hill. Some people were found hundreds of feet away from the crash site.
I understand the desperation of the families, and with the number of people who remain injured as a result of this accident, we are all truly concerned. The accident is extremely strange. It happened on a straight stretch of track. All the railway experts are extremely surprised.
Last August, the Spanish Train Drivers Union said it warned the rail operator of severe wear and tear on the tracks. Spanish officials say the rescue efforts are still ongoing.
President Trump is targeting states that use taxpayer money to cover health care for illegal immigrants. The administration says 7 states and D.C. owe nearly $1.4 billion in federal funds spent on non-emergency care. Officials say federal money is only meant for emergency care, not routine treatments like dental cleanings or elective surgeries. Illinois is 3rd behind California and New York for the amount of money owed to the federal government over care for illegal immigrants. That's according to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
When you come for elective hernia operations or dental cleaning, that's not going to be paid for by the federal taxpayer. It's not right. You don't want folks in one state paying for people in another state without them knowing about it and voting for it.
Critics say cutting care is cruel, while supporters argue Americans shouldn't pay for health care for undocumented immigrants.
Well, Democrats in Congress say that they're trying to stop ICE from using what they're calling heavy-handed tactics. Their plan is to cut the agency's money. Some lawmakers now insist on new guardrails and an upcoming DHS funding bill before they cast their votes.
Cannot vote for anything that actually adds more money and doesn't constrain ICE.
I am not going to cast a vote, not one dime, to support this lawless, brutal Trump ICE operation.
Congress has until the end of the month to fund DHS and other agencies to avoid another federal government shutdown.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell will attend Wednesday's Supreme Court argument over the president's attempt to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. Trump claims Cook committed mortgage fraud, which she denies. Powell's attendance comes after months of mounting tensions between the White House and the central bank, with the president threatening the Fed with subpoenas to force rate cuts. Powell's term as Fed chair is up in May.
Nurses in New York City have entered their second week of protests. The New York Nurses Association says that they have started targeted meetings with another one of the major hospital systems, Mount Sinai. However, both sides said that the meeting ended with little progress that was made. This is the city's biggest strike of its kind in decades.
Oh my gosh. Now this is some crazy video. Multiple people were injured in a 100-vehicle pileup in Michigan. It happened yesterday morning during sudden snow squall southwest of Grand Rapids. This was I-196, a pretty well-traveled road. Michigan State Police say as many as 40 semi-trucks were involved. Some cars were able to avoid the pileup by going off the road, but then getting stuck in the snow as a result.
That is a very terrifying sight.
Yeah, where do you go? You know, if you're, you mentioned that some people pulled off the side of the road, but then you're going to be in
median maybe or something to escape that. Jeez.
But then it's like the semi truck, you know, it could jackknife, and then you're kind of not safe on both sides.
Yeah, yeah. And they always, recommend stay in your car if you get involved in one of these things. I don't know, I'd be like running for the hills.
No kidding, right? They did end up bringing school buses by to save some of the people out there. Another reason why you should make sure that you have the proper winter gear in your car. You never know what's going to happen.
Right.
I don't think I do. I don't think
We'll get you set up,
bad.
buddy.
I am bad. I've got jumper cables and a scraper. That's about it. All right, let's talk about the snow that is on the way, because I think we have two systems that are going to move in the next 48 hours or less. During daylight hours today, we're fine. Plenty of sunshine actually on the way. It's just really cold. We have wind chills way below zero now, and even in the heat of the day, it's not going to get that warm. Temperatures will be rising tonight in response to this. Yeah, there's actually a system that'll bring in slightly milder air, but it's also producing snow that I think is going to cover pretty much all of Chicagoland. But I still believe the heaviest snow is going to be falling in the Cheddar Curtin counties, where maybe 3, 4 plus could come down before ending tomorrow morning. But that's not the end of the snow. Tomorrow in the evening hours, probably right around sunset to 7, 8 o'clock, we get a couple of scattered snow showers. Won't last long, but could produce another half to maybe 1 inch of snow on top of what you just cleared off from the morning snowfall. And then we are done with snow, but boy, are we not done with the cold. Today, daylight hours will hit 22 degrees, a lot of sunshine early, a little bit cloudier late. Tonight, snow moving in probably between about 8 and 9 o'clock. 18 degrees will be kind of the low before temperatures begin to rise into the higher 20s. We're looking at about 2 to 4 inches possible, with the biggest numbers in Lake and McHenry County. And maybe a little bit less. You get an I-80 corridor, you may only get about 1 inch of that. 28 tomorrow, snow coming back in tomorrow evening, and then out of here. No snow after that, but look at the high. The high temperature on Friday, 0, with a low of 8 below at night. You can bank on some kind of a cold weather advisory coming out. And really, every single day here, colder than normal.
Oh, man, yeah.
Thanks.
No days of freezing. Jeez. Well, there's a hidden compound in your morning coffee, and it might do more than just wake you up.
Okay, man, the fashion industry is mourning the loss of an icon. We'll have details soon.
Lowe's knows tackling projects now.
Welcome back. Sad news in the designer world. Iconic fashion designer Valentino Garavani has died. His foundation posted the news yesterday, saying he passed away at his home in Rome, surrounded by loved ones. Valentino founded his legendary namesake brand in 1960, and his client list quickly became iconic, helping style celebrities like Elizabeth Taylor, Audrey Hepburn, and Sophia Loren. Valentino retired in 2008, but his stamp on the fashion world was already sealed. Valentino was 93 years old.
New research shows that coffee could help slow the stream of sugar into our blood. The research shows promise in supporting some new foods that may manage type 2 diabetes in the future. Scientists identified 3 previously unknown compounds in coffee beans, which block an enzyme that plays a key role in how fast sugar enters into the body. But they say that they'll need to conduct further studies to test just how effective the compounds are in living organisms. But developers want to bring a little bit of Vegas to Washington, D.C. Maryland officials announced plans to build a venue just like the Las Vegas Sphere at the National Harbor, which is right over the Potomac River. This new Sphere would be a smaller version with just 6,000 seats compared to the 18,000-seat venue in Vegas. State lawmakers still need to sign on to the project, but it is expected to be open in 2030.
Okay, I'll bet that'd be pretty cool.
Would be cool.
To me, since I haven't been to Vegas and I haven't seen the Sphere, it still doesn't really exist to me. It just seems kind of like a...
I went once for like
a
NBA
figment of my
Summer League a
imagination.
couple of years ago, and it's like you can see it from almost all parts of the city.
awesome.
It looks like there's like a moon on the ground, essentially.
Just had that. That's super
What
cool.
do you guys say? A little Vegas strip?
I'm down.
Us three?
Don't tempt me.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Keep me away from the craps table.
Oh, Mike, we're going to have to put a limit on you.
All right, be that way, be that way. We have more winter weather on the way. The odds favor it being cold, and we also have a pretty good chance for some sticking snow coming in here, especially tonight into tomorrow morning. And because of that, there's a winter weather advisory. Let me cue up all the different colors for you. You know, there's still a cold weather advisory in effect for LaPorte County, and then we have a winter weather advisory in Berrien County, but let's focus on what's going on the Illinois side for a moment. Lake and McHenry County and points west, the entire northern tier of Illinois counties and all of southern Wisconsin. Winter weather advisory for snow coming in tonight into early tomorrow morning. The stuff should be gone by about 6 a.m. tomorrow, but the impacts are going to last that long. And in this winter weather advisory area, I think we're going to see a lot of 3s and 4s in the inch department for snowfall, and a few spots could even get a little bit more. This morning, it's not snow, skies are clear, and it is cold. We have 1 at Aurora. We've dropped to 2 below 0 at Woodstock. It's 0 at Waukegan, 3 at Morris, 1 at Chicago Heights and Valparaiso, 5 at Michigan City. The only double digit on there is Benton Harbor with the wind coming in off the lake where it is 10. But of course, the wind chills are a little bit more biting than that. It feels like 11 below 0 at Midway. Hat, gloves, the whole deal again today. Although temperatures are actually going to be rising tonight. But with those rising temperatures tonight, we have falling snow on the way. Low will be 18 degrees, and then we'll see those temperatures climbing well into the 20s. 2 to 4 inches possible with the heaviest amounts north of the city. Let's look at the 7-day forecast. After a snow tonight, another light snow shower or two tomorrow evening. It's all about the cold. High of only 22 Thursday, dropping below 0 Friday morning, staying at or below 0 all day Friday. Look at Saturday morning's low, 8 below 0, barely climbing out of the deep freeze as we head into early next week. No sign of 40s or 50s. I miss them already. 4:58 in just a few seconds. We'll be back with more Good Day.
Did you know that